And welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is the Great Mattsby and Tracker. There will be no Triumvirate tonight because Kat needs a little break doing some other stuff here. But we're here right now. So, how's it going, Tracker?
It's going great. Yesterday was an awful. It was a great day for a nap. Let's just say that it was an awful day for watching the market because everything was just testing supports. Unless you had cash, then it was a terrific day to buy things.
Yeah. You can never have enough of that cash lying around in case things get to your important levels. That's for sure.
Correct. And you did tell us about a lot of resistances, and we were at very many various resistances. So
Yeah. But here we go with the SPY, and we continue to just melt up higher and higher. We're not really going lower, so pre-market still is going higher. So the trend is your friend. This is the daily chart, and still it is looking like it wants to go to the 648.98. The conversion line's down there at 628, so it's getting a little bit even extended now from the conversion line. The last time that happened, it just gradually went sideways until it met up with the conversion line. So perhaps we're not going to just go straight up in a line. We might just go sideways or down a little bit first before continuing higher. So the trend is your friend, though. This is a bullish chart. QQQ, same situation. We're gapping up a little bit higher this morning. The next destination could be the 578.46, and that's what I'm watching on my radar. Conversion line 560, so that would be your first line of defense down below with a lot more support below that. IWM, is it going to break out of this 786? Not yet, but it is going up 0.5% pre-market. That's pretty good. So I'll be watching to see if daily or weekly candles can start to close above this 226.80. And once it can, then I think we might actually see price just keep on going towards all-time highs. So the melt up for IWM could actually begin after it starts to break this 226, 227 zone. And let's see for Tesla here. How's this looking pre-market? Well, we can see Tesla looking pre-market is at 324, still above the 702 right here. Fib, and that's 321.32. And I can see that maybe we could go back down for another back test of that 321. It doesn't matter, right? But this chart is inside the cloud, above the conversion, the baseline, above all the indicators on the chart, and it's above the 702 fib here on linear scale. So this chart wants to be bullish, right? Maybe a little bit more consolidation, but I can see it gravitating to the 340s, 350s above sooner than later. And lastly, I'll just show Bitcoin here just to show you guys that it still is range bound. I have the fib channels on there as well, which kind of line up with that 128, 101 up top, the 130 zone. So I think that's where price could go first before any kind of major rejection. And right now we're just range bound in the same range for the past 3 weeks in a row. So no changes at all until we start to break into the 120s, the low 120s. And once that happens, I think 128 to 130 will be the next destination tracker.
all right. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share my Bitcoin chart here. This is a special new one I did for my subscribers yesterday evening. I basically just took the entire history of Bitcoin, compressed it into a monthly chart, and then pulled fibs on it. Here's the monthly chart. I pulled fibs on it until it made sense for the 1111, the 236, the 298. In other words, I don't know where the 100% is going to be, but these fibs make sense, which then let me discover where that 100% might actually be. And lo and behold, it is not $1 million. No. The 100% of this range is actually 18,666,000. A million is just somewhere here between the 786 and the 886. Right? Well, it's right here, a million. And so, and I've been telling people this really cool thing I've been learning is that you can take any of these two large degree fibs and you can subdivide it into another set of 0 to 1 fibs. And so that's what I've done here with this range from the 42,000 to the 161,000. That's where we find ourselves now. And in fact, we're actually, once you subdivide this, we're between the 702 and the 886 now. We really spent a lot of time between the 618 and the 786 has been resistance. Let me bring into the 16-hour chart now. of this price action. And here we are. So there's 50%, 618. Remember, this is all just subsections of this much larger degree, the 618 to the 702. And so yeah, here we are. We're right now, we're just trying to finish up this consolidation action and get us over this 786 of 121,000, which then means we already had resistance here at this 1111, the 123,379. This right here was 123,236. And so that sent us back to retest. And, I should have left these fibs up down here. But basically, we're almost done. This is pretty much it. I'll show you XRP in a second as well. I think we're going to get back over 121,000 very soon. We should go over 123,000, maybe as high as this 382, or maybe just this 298, 126,000. That could look like that. And then we'll retest this 1111 before we enter this whole phase of going all the way up to 136,000. That'll take a while to process. That could be the rest of this year. And then XRP, some of you followed me, watched me do this chart. Why is it not? I did this over the weekend. Yeah, here we go. And I was looking for this triangle to give me a re-entry opportunity. And all I had back then was, let's see, it was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend. And then I ended up capitulating and buying. That's my cost basis right there at 326. I said, oh crap, what if it goes over 50% and just heads straight up? Well, it didn't. It tested right, it put 2 wicks over the 50% and then right back down. And this is what we got yesterday. This is all of yesterday right here. 8 hour, 8 hour, 8 hour. And that's what we saw in crypto, because Bitcoin was doing the same thing right here. 8 hours, the same 8 hours. Bitcoin was doing this, was just testing down. Look, now we're back up again to 119,000 in today, right now, so from 4 a.m. to where we are now. So yeah, I think things are looking up for crypto today. Yesterday was a dark day for me and all my subscribers. We've been heavy into the crypto stuff like GAME. In fact, Matt, I'm going to ask you for your opinion on GAME in a minute to answer Corcon Atlay's question about, sirs, what are the chances of GAME becoming a nothing stock and linger here forever? And I'll let Matt present first, and then I'll do my rebuttal. I think that's it. I should show. Let's do the VIX and the Tesla. And actually, let me do this again real quick. The SPY, remember, I'm talking about how I feel like we're asymptotically approaching 6666, the mark of the beast up here for the top of the SPY, maybe 671 for a new local top this year. And so there's not much left to go. There's only about 5% increase in the SPY to go, but it's going to oscillate like a bastard here. We're at the sawtooth action the whole way up. And so the SPY, I've told you before how I think the VIX acts like an accelerometer. So as long as we're below the greed level in the VIX, prices want to keep pushing higher. Well, now that the SPY is getting close to its melt-up end, the reason why it's oscillating so hard is that there's rotation, right? There's a lot of rotation going on. We just saw NVIDIA. We saw all the chips and all the energy stocks just like really run the last week or so. Well, I'm looking for this week a rotation out of energy and chips and back into crypto and AI, and that includes Tesla. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting this week. And yes, yesterday was a very dark day for things like SBET and even Galaxy, a big winner over the last week with not much pullback, has had a little bit of test back here. UPXI did a run back down below my cost, et cetera, et cetera. All right, I'll just show Tesla, and I'm going to throw it back to Matt here. Tesla, I've just got this long-term chart. well, it's medium term really when you think about it from now until 2028, 2030. But we are headed for 429, a retest to 420.69 before the end of the year, maybe September high, sawtooth action all the way into the September. October 31st, the spooky low before we get the final melt up to the end of the year. Maybe 453 is what we see at the end of the year. I don't know. I can't tell if this is 453 is the end of the year or this is October and we get somewhere closer to 600 by the end of the year. I really don't know because price action always finds great ways of delaying by just making these triangles longer and longer and bigger and bigger. And even here now, it's entirely possible that we are stuck inside yet another triangle that just hasn't done the top part here, right? Like that, this could be what we see next, which would keep us between 453 and 361.98, all the way into next year. So price action always finds a way of delaying. I can't predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can tell you that the trend is bullish. We are going up. We're making higher highs and higher lows after this correction that we had here from 488 down to 214.25. Remember how bad it was here? We were at 414.50 forever with the 101 low. Now we have a higher high and a higher low. That's all I care about. Higher high than this high, higher low than that low. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, we'll check out some of these requests here. I'll do a few. Going on to GAME, is it going to be the chances of it becoming a nothing stock? Well, it had a massive breakout of the cloud, right? This candle right here was 100% weekly candle, and now it's retracing, right? It basically almost got to the 382 fib right there at 298, and now it's just retracing one support level at a time, and actually it's flipping one support level at a time back to resistance. So in my opinion, it kind of looks like it wants to go lower, right? Might want to go back down to the bottom of the cloud, maybe the 50-week moving average, and that's right around 88 cents. So yeah, I mean, I can see it just basically maybe trend down inside the cloud for many weeks, many months, and be all boring, whatever, until it's ready to continue the trend higher. But yeah, just being stuck in between the 236 here and the 50% fib on this chart, and that's basically from the all-time high to the all-time low. It's a wide range. It's a wide range, and so it can do whatever it wants. It can go down to even the bottom end of the range if it needed to. But in order for the stock to really be more bullish, it really needs to establish a nice foundation on top of this 236. And until that happens, it's probably going to be just a boring stock doing nothing for a while. So right now, 120 is your resistance. This is the 100-week moving average. So until that gets reclaimed, it's not going to go higher. And it might even drift lower. So my target really, is below $1 again, maybe 86 cents or so in that vicinity. Let's take a look at a few other things here. ACHR and Archer Aviation, we can see this one is trying to battle that 1103, the 786 fib right there, and is getting stuck underneath the conversion line too as kind of a resistance at 1149. So we're kind of like in the same zone as we've been in since it really broke out back in May. It's just been trending sideways through time since then, with some occasional explosions up top into nowhere that just retrace back to where things were. So what I really think is happening, though, ever since it broke the cloud in November of 2024, it never has touched the cloud. So I think it's just going to gravitate in that direction and probably just be range bound for a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, right? Maybe even go back down towards the arc again in the nines and retrace down there and just gravitate towards the cloud over here. So that could be later this year, maybe in September, October, November sometime before perhaps going higher. So huge move happened already. Now it's just consolidating. It is making higher highs and higher lows, but it can't really get more bullish until we still are just establish a base on top of that 1103. So until then, I can't say it wants to go higher. And right now it's kind of showing that it's having difficulties still with that 786. So we did have the past 2 weeks close above it. So if this just turns into a wick and closes above it, then that could be the beginning stages of building a base on top to go higher. But right now, we got to have proof that it wants to stay above it. And we'll see on Friday if it can or cannot. And I'll just do a few more of those. People are talking about Coinbase too. Let's see what Coin is doing. I still am watching this 384, right? That's basically it. watching this for a weekly candle close. We're getting liquidity below it. That's exactly what I said on the weekly update on Friday when I included it with Tesla and Palantir. And it's just a big breakout. It's a big back test, and the 384.17 is looking like a nice little zone. So can it go a little bit lower this week? Of course, right? It can go down to the low 370s or even 360s or whatever, but I think price can start to try to gravitate around this 384 for weekly candle closes until it's really ready to break higher. And lastly, I'll do Palantir here just to show that we can go to the log scale chart here and just take a look at the 157. What is that? 157.62. Yeah, 157.62. And zooming in quite a bit here, we can see that price is still above it. It broke out last week, got some liquidity below it already, and price is actually trying to stabilize on top of that 1.618. So that's what I'm watching the most. If it can stay above, then Palantir can get a lot more bullish and go much higher. So 157 is my goal. Oh, I skipped the very first one too. Riot. Riot is also trying to maintain an important fib to the 1442. That is the 702 fib. So I'm watching that the most throughout this whole chart, because if it can stabilize there, it's not really necessary to go back to the 1303 or a little bit lower, but that is still a possibility. But let the charts prove it to us. And so far, it's a previous massive resistance here trying to flip to support. So if 1442 holds, then this chart will get a lot more bullish. All right, Tracker, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. The reason why I went on such great length about Bitcoin is that, out there are a lot of agnostics and atheists. At the end, some people just don't believe in their gods until they need them. And, yesterday was such adversity for people that want to believe in Bitcoin. Well, if you do believe in Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. You just have to wait it out. And as you can see, I think Bitcoin has got an incredible future versus the US dollar. Anyway, game here. This is my game chart, and this is log scale. And I tracked it from this low here at 50 cents to this high up here at $2.81. Actually, no, you're right about, no, that's right, 281. And then it's just been doing this test back, and so far it's come down to 106 was the low. It's at 1111 right now, or $1.11. And on the 8-hour chart, it's lost the moving average 75, and it does look like Matt was saying it could go down to like 86 cents or so. Well, that's where the moving average 300 is on the 8-hour chart, 86.60. However, when you look at the 16-hour chart now, my moving average 75 is just about to cross up through the moving average 300. So that could be a magic number, a magic place. Maybe price is rushing to test that just at the cross. If it were to do that, that's 94.08, about 94.30-ish, about 94 cents. So maybe there's a little bit more pain for this, or maybe it doesn't have to have any pain at all. Maybe it gets a cushion of air as this makes this cross. Regardless, I still think game has the chance to continue higher. Let's see, from the 0 to 1114. Like all this, I'm just counting as the 382 here. And now it just kind of lost the 111 or the 114 on the left side and trying to reclaim it. And once it gets over this 111, it'll be over this 1114. And then it can go on to test the 50% level, which would be $3.53. So from where price is right now, that is, it's up here, about 219% higher. So, if you're in it with me, the pain is maybe another 15% lower. But then from there, or just like I said, from where we are now, it's like over 200% higher to get back to that 50% level. So don't give up on game. Please don't sell at the bottom. And even if it does go, like Matt was saying, from his chart and from my moving average 300, even if it drops down here to, what was it, 86 cents, I'm still going to hang in there. I mean, and then maybe I'll DCA some from something else that will outperform game in the meantime while it's doing that. All right, that was that. Matt, do you want to take it back over, and I'll pick out something else?
Yeah, I was going to do that PBF as well.
All right.
Just noticed that. Yeah, so here's my PBF, and we can see that this is actually trying to stabilize around this 702 fib right here. So I'm watching that. That's the $24 zone, 24.30s. So basically in that zone, or 24.90s, I should say, in that zone, it's basically also stuck between the 50-week moving average and the conversion line there. So this is 23 up to 26. So that's basically the range. Trying to get more bullish, trying to get inside the cloud. And I think it's just going to need more time, right? It's just going to need more time trying to consolidate sideways through time a little bit longer until it's ready to break into the cloud and head to the 31 up top. So it's just range bound right now, trying to get more bullish. But ultimately still stuck under the 50-week moving average. And until it closes above that at 25.75, it'll probably still just go sideways through time. And let's take a look here at, let's see, let's do SMCI because I wanted to pay attention to what's really going on with this chart. And it's breaking out, right? It's breaking out higher. And the signs were all there, right? Flipping this arc back to a support here. It just launched higher, getting inside the cloud, then the 100-week moving average. It was just breaking one support or one resistance, flipping into support at a time. And the last one was a breakout back test of the 100-week moving average, which kind of was a clear sign to continue the journey higher. Now we're approaching the next major resistance zone of this previous wick up top here, maybe around 66, and also the top of the cloud at the 70s. So SMCI, it's been good, right? Ever since it broke back above this breakout back test, getting liquidity below the arc, it was basically good to continue higher. And sure enough, I can see even the blue level getting hit in the 80s, and that's going to be the next major zone to break to get into all-time highs. But we're not there yet. But I think given the trend now, that is your friend, and I think it's going to eventually exit the cloud. But before that, it might come back down for another back test of this $50 zone first before continuing the journey higher. So the reasons I don't chase, because back tests happen all the time, and that's when you want to have the opportunity to accumulate on those back tests. All right, Tracker.
Yeah, it's interesting. SMCI, it's sort of, when you think about a basket of goods that you're shopping for, you're a big whale or institution, and the market loves to pick a winner, and then it needs a scapegoat. And SMCI was the scapegoat when all the other chips were winning. And now they're rotating back into it, obviously, because that's where they can get the most bang for their buck. It doesn't really matter if SMCI, what this narrative is, the price says this is where they can make the most money by coming back into it now. All right, I've got QBTS up next, D-Wave Quantum Incorporated. And you guys hear me talk about my 5 waves up, but you don't get to see, I don't get to show you a lot of mature charts. You see a lot of ones and twos, and it's still the ones, now it's a longer two. But no, here's a mature chart. QBTS, for my wave start down here, let's see, at 75 cents to this high up here of 11.41, and then that's wave one. Then wave two was down here at $3.35, and then it did a wave three, subwave one, up to the 764, just a little bit above it, and then came down through the 382. This one came down to the 236, and actually even a little bit below that. Then it did the wave three up in 5 minor waves to get to the just above the 132. Remember, I usually say 764, 382, 1382. This one wicked through the 1382, went back to 100%, tried to go through the 1382 again, said no, and it made a longer wave 4 that still did take it back all the way to, I'm sorry, this is in the way. Let me just get rid of that way. Usually I say 764, 382, 1382, 100%, and look, it came right back to the 100%. I didn't make this stuff up. This is just exactly what the price action did. And from the 100%, the next chart, the next stop for wave 5 is the 2382, and that's where it's going now. So QBTS, just hang in there. Don't sell it now. You're about to get your melt up, because sometimes it goes above the 2382 to like the 2618, which I don't know why I don't have it on here already. The 2618 would be 3115. So we're from prices now to the 2382, it's 51% higher to $28.65. If it melts up to the 2618, that is 64% higher to $31.15. But my advice is usually don't chase the wicks that you can get burned up there. Anyway, that's it. And then I've already plotted what the retracement would look like from the 2382. Would probably take it down to either the 50% retracement level here at 1738, or a 618 retracement down here to 1452. I know it seems extreme, but this is this would all happen in the bear market that happens, I don't know, like in 2027, late 2027 maybe. We'll see. Short-term bear market. Well, I mean, it's going to feel long. It's going to feel painful. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, I'll go stick with the semi theme, and let's go take a look at NVIDIA and AMD as well. And NVIDIA right here, it's just continuously melting up higher. And it all started once it had a bullish engulfing candle above the 2.272, got the breakout, got the back test of the previous resistance flipping to support, and the melt up has begun. So I know a lot of people are waiting for some kind of a back test, and it's possible, right? It's really possible to do that. But where could it go? Well, let's just put on a new set of fibs right here just to see from the high to the low that we just had recently. And it's approaching pre-market. Actually, it is at it pre-market at that 1.272. So the 178.80 could be the destination that it wanted to go the whole time before any kind of a retrace. So now that we're here, let's just see how price reacts and maybe be a little bit cautious in that zone, because it's not guaranteed to break free the first time, and it already had a massive melt up. So I would not be chasing up here, that's for sure. But this is a resistance zone. But no matter what, short term, long term, it doesn't matter to me, because I still see the 190s, I still see the 217s, I still see going higher and higher over time. So NVIDIA, very bullish stock, even though it is at a resistance point this morning. And AMD, it is breaking through the weekly cloud, and this is amazing, right? And the 702, the next big resistance zone, is the big old 786 right there at 180. But this has also been a very big melt up too, and all the signs were there too. Once it started breaking one resistance zone at a time, it just kept on going higher and higher and higher, and even had that breakout back test of the 618 there as well for the continuation higher. So bullish. Next resistance 180. But again, I would not be chasing in this zone, because look at that big resistance zone at that 180 point. It was basically where price flipped to a resistance back in July of 2024 for the bear market, right? Then it just went down, and I started DCAing basically, I think, in the 140s, 130s on the way down. And my last buys were basically in the 90s here. So everything was a beautiful dollar cost average here for now, getting the benefit of this V-shaped recovery. So this is why I like to buy the pain, just accumulate the pain to appreciate the gain. And here we are now. So we're going to probably start to see 180s, 200s, 220s, and I can even see the 300s in the future as well for AMD. So even though I'm a lot in the green right now, I'm not going to be taking profits, because I think this has the potential to continue the journey much, much higher.
Oh yeah, why not just let it at least test the all-time high previously?
Yeah, it'll get there. But the 786 could be a big resistance, so got to be a little bit cautious there if you are trading in and out. All right, tracker.
I've got by request SBET, and I'm showing you my personal SBET chart here. I don't have the moving average 200 turned on, but so here we did get a gap fill. It had this little teeny tiny gap right here that didn't quite fill all the way, and it filled yesterday. And in pre-market, it's done this thing just a little bit below it. So now I get to move this down to here. But what I see with this chart is, because this is what I see everywhere. This is the linear scale. Yeah, linear scale. I see a big triangle from here to here to here, and it's just compressing. It's compressing price inside this triangle. So I can't go negative. I guess the triangles have to be a little smaller than that, but it's this is the pain. This is the pain that you want to be accumulating and buying. I think SBET. I think the Bitcoin style strategies will outperform the coins in the short term, and then until they don't anymore, and then the coins themselves will outperform in the long run all the treasuries, because people are like, oh, I don't need a treasury, but the treasuries can make money because they can charge interest on loaning out stuff. But anyway, so that's why they keep diluting, because to them, all the money that they dilute their stock to buy more stuff, it's all short-term pain for them for a much longer-term strategy that should be aces for them individually. Yeah, it's just not. It's not. they don't. What they do isn't for the shareholders now. What they do is for themselves in the future. Just keep that in mind. So SBET, yep, painful to hold right now. Oh, I wanted to show you IREN because I told you guys when I thought that IREN might be approaching resistance, and indeed it looks like it caught it right here at 2154. And I drew this up for my subscribers, I think a week ago. I said I'll know I'm on the right track if IREN gets support here next. And look what it did this morning. A perfect touch right to this 2929 at 1605. So I would say if you want to short-term swing this thing, maybe it wants to go back to 1946 next before dropping down to this halfway point at 1217. So you could do you wait till maybe it makes a new higher high than 1677 to confirm the direction, but maybe 21% higher before it then drops 37% lower. And then from 1217, this whole thing, charges it up for the next phase for the wave 3 move. All right. I think I'm done with that for now. I can't.
Yeah, I'll finish off with a couple of things, and then I'll let you finish
Please.
off.
Okay.
So yeah, SoFi, they had earnings. Somebody wants to see the ARCs. Well, the ARC already got broken a while ago. So the GAN ARC right here got broken back in June, and then it just accelerated higher, and now we're basically at the 886 FIP pre-market right now, 2276. It's a little bit above it, but this is your weekly resistance zone, so it's not guaranteed to close the week above it. So we are at resistance now. So just be a little bit cautious here until we can get some confirmation that maybe it wants to close above or not, right? If it does turn into a wick, then it's still resistance, and it still can retrace a little bit lower before breaking out. So we're going to be a little bit cautious today, but staying above the 786 means it's probably going to go back to all-time highs, regardless of a retrace or not. So there's no point in me trading in and out of this stock. I'll just hold on to it as well for the continuation higher. And lastly, I haven't done this in a while. CMG Chipotle. Yeah,
it's facing some stiff competition from Kava.
Kava, yes, the
new
Greek
kid on the
place.
block. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been in a downtrend, guys, and the blue GAN level kind of said it all, right? This is how GAN can be useful. Rejection there, confirming that as resistance there, gave you 2 times to get out, right, near the top, and therefore now price is breaking one support level at a time, and the next drop could lead to the 42.93, almost there, really. And if it does need to go down there, that's fine. We can also look at the monthly indicators just to see how the month is going to close. And it's still well above the cloud, but still also going to close the month back below the baseline, the conversion line, and head towards the 50-month moving average, which is also at the same price, 42.57. But ultimately, this is what I kind of see for this stock. I see it, this blue level and the green 45 and all of this arc here. I see this zone as a destination. I see it as a destination. So I think what it's likely to do in the months to come, maybe even the years to come, is just stay in this zone and maybe even back test the arc down here in the 30s or 20s and then get to the 45. So this is looking like a top, right? This is looking like a top, and there's really no point to own it or buy it or think any of these back tests are good because it had a very, very strong move up from here to here, and it looks like it just needs a lot of time now for consolidation. So for me, it's dead money. Like there's no point in owning something like this because I think the true destination is probably this 45-degree angle, which kind of touched before back in 2018. And I think at some point in the future, it's going to touch again. So staying away from this one, no point. Tracker, back to you.
Thanks, Matt. Let's see. I was just going to do, HIMS. Here we go. Here's HIMS. HIMS and Her Health. This is my chart for HIMS. The actual stock, not the derivative. And you can see it finished 5 waves up for the larger degree wave 1. Here's larger degree wave 2. Now we're in wave 3. Subwave 1, subwave 2 are finished. And it is working. It's in the heart of the wave 3 right now. So really you just want to be in HIMS and hang on because it's going to go 47% higher to the 1382 at least here next at 104.78. Inside of that, look for, remember, this is all this is wave 3. So this is wave 3 sub 1, sub 2, sub 3 could look like this A. It could go higher. And then subwave 4 won't go below the subwave 1. Interesting. Something like this, but don't trade it. Just hang on for all of the wave 3. And the wave 3 top still 104.78 here, so 47% higher. Just know it's going to hit some peak, maybe around $89, send it back down to $73. Oh, actually, I do like that. Goes to, yeah, maybe $93 or $97, then back to $73, and then finishes up 104.78, or goes a little higher to melt up the wave 3. But that's it. That's HIMS. And lastly, I want to show Open Door Technology. We kind of talked about the stock and how it did not look very good. Like it could spend a very long time is in the doldrums. But I kind of have this weird underdog hope for it, I think, especially as the moving average 75 is going to cross above my moving average 300 on the 8-hour chart. I don't know if it'll run down here to meet it when it does that cross or not. So far, this low has been at 205, and I'm just wondering if it can hold this 1111 again for a second retest of it at 215. So where's the triangle? Can you review? I was thinking it could be flat, or maybe it could come down to this 1111. Anyway, we're at 226 right now. We'll know in just about 11 cents or so if it holds that 1111. And if it's so, I've got a bunch of calls, some that I think some lotto calls that could be really fun. Anyway, there you go. Open. I'm bullish above 205. Probably cautiously optimistic over $1.55. Bearish under $1.01. There you go. Open Technologies. I'm done. I'm done. Thank you guys for watching us today. Any final thoughts for the market today for our fine listeners?
Final thoughts are, I warned you guys about NVO and UNH for a long time, so we don't need to talk about those. Those stocks are not bullish, right? They wanted to go lower, and sure enough, they both are going lower. So because of that, do not like those. All right, Tracker. Oh, you want to do CLDI first?
I'll just show, because somebody asked at the end here. I'm bullish on CLDI after this run all the way down to 20 cents. I think it's merely under the 1111 at 105. Once it gets over 105, it's going to go on to it'll do 201, 312, then 402 is the big, really the next big test. It's got to see if it can get to the second half of the quarter, the second half over the 50% level. So yeah, from where price is right now, look for it to go another 335% higher to test that 50% level ultimately. But first, the next resistance will be 201, which is about 112% higher. CLDI Biotherapeutics. Thanks, everybody. Listen, remember everything Matt just told you, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Yeah. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.